Hey guys, I'm back again with yet another version of the Autocrafter clock. I promise I am not milking this for views. Not that I'm getting very much anyway, but just wanted to change some things. I changed some things and I figured out a couple more issues that came up with this thing. So this thing right here is what I did in the last video. And as you can see here, I shortened this, so it's a comparator coming out of this, and this piston extending this redstone block and activating the repeater to activate the hopper. Another thing is I shortened this, so that little piece that's sticking out, I shortened that to this part right here. So an issue that I was having was this guy right here. Because it was observing this redstone dust here, when you put more than just like one in here, if you put like say a whole stack, this thing would go on and off and be super temperamental, go from like a strength of 1 to 0 to 1 to 0, and put more than is necessary in the crafter here. So I'm making it so that the observer is actually facing this block and powering this to power the dropper, so that it actually only goes off when this is fully activated, creating a redstone signal of 1 and 0 when this goes back and the forth right here. So that's it. Just wanted to do that. And another thing is I actually wanted to explain a couple of ways that you could use this. One thing that I mentioned in my first video, but not my second one, was that this is actually a clock. So if you know what an etho hopper clock is, it's basically, this is going to be outputting your redstone signal. So what you have is when the redstone block is right here, then this is going to be turned on. When it's not, when it's on the other side, then it's going to be off. So it's a clock. It's a timer. It's alternating. And so what I've done is I've basically made a longer clock, because the max this can be is the max amount you can fit into these slots. So the most you can have, it's a little over 4 minutes long, the timer is. So for my purposes, I needed a timer that was longer, so that when it released a redstone signal, where this is our output right here, so it's comparing what's in the chest and outputting to whatever you want. For me, it's this dispenser with firework rockets. So this is actually, I can give you the times actually. The shortest amount of time that this clock can be is about 6.45 seconds, and the longest is 33.5 minutes. And it varies depending on how much you put in here. And if you want to come up with a shorter timer, you could always just have it like disable these slots and have it, craft a stick or something like that. And then there we go. That would set it off, resetting the clock. With that in mind, now we have a longer clock. So let me kind of explain how this works. So when this has nothing in it, then it's going to move this back here. So this isn't going to be activated by this comparator. This comparator is comparing what's in the hoppers and setting this piston off, sending this redstone block back and forth, which the redstone block locks the hopper until items move from one side to the other, and locks here, so vice versa, because otherwise if you don't have that redstone block, you're just going to get one block moving back and forth constantly. So that's the hopper clock, and it's the timer. That's how that works. And so whenever the timer goes to this side, it's going to change the signal of this block that's being powered by this comparator, and it's active, and it's powering this block for a second, which is powering this dropper, which the item that comes from this dropper goes into this hopper, which goes into this crafter. And so each time that happens, it's filling up, dot, 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 dot. When it's completely full, this observer clock, which is going back and forth constantly, powering this block, which you can see is powering the crafter, so that when this is full, it's going to make this craft a block, which is going to spit out into this hopper, going into this chest. And when something is in this chest, the comparator detects it, sets off your output redstone signal, and do with it what you want. I'm using a dispenser with firework rockets. And when the system's done, because this is an on-off system, so I press the button to turn it on, this redstone lamp is on, which is powering this comparator, which is powering this torch, turning this off. So when this torch is on, the system's off. When this torch is off, the system's on. So when the system is finished and a block comes into this chest, it's actually going to power this momentarily, which turns off this clock, or turns off this copper bulb, which then turns off our system. So when this is done, it's one and done. So you press a button, timer, finish, done. That's it, until you press the button again. Now, you don't have to have this. I need this for something very specific, for a game design that I'm using. So I need it to be every time I want the game to start and I want the game to finish. But you could also use this for other things that you might want, for farms or different outputs. But for those, there's probably better clocks that'll work better for you. The only issue that I ran into with this system, well, I ran into many issues that I fixed, but one where I needed to add another component was this right here. When this chest gets the item, the hopper picks this hopper below, which resets the system. As you can see, this is our resets. This is where all the items go, because otherwise you just have a system that never turns off. So you need something that resets. What would happen is the hopper would pick it up too quick, so that comparators could not detect it. So I needed something, a delay. So this comparator's on when this has any amount of items in it, which powers this block, which powers this piston, which pushes the redstone block down, and turns on this repeater, which locks this hopper, so the hopper can't take anything out from this chest. Once there's nothing left in this crafter, once it spits the block out, it turns this off. But since this repeater is on a 4-tick delay, it will give this enough time for there to be a block in here, for enough time for the comparators to detect it and turn off the system and set off the system. So this block, or this repeater right here, is our delay, so that there's enough time, and then of course it resets. So hopefully that explains everything. I did do a block by block tutorial in my second video on this. Hopefully you can go based off of what I made right here and kind of get an idea of where things go, because I pretty much described how everything works. So hopefully you guys can pick up from that and be able to use this for whatever you want to use it for. Hopefully it's useful. And if you have any tips or anything, all you redstone geniuses out there, just let me know in the comments. That'd be great. And hopefully this is my last rendition. So far I did a bunch of testing. I did more testing than I did with the other ones, because I figured this out on the server, and I was like, wait, no, this doesn't work. So hopefully this is the last rendition that I have for it, the most compact rendition so far. But let me know if you have any other ideas of anything that could make this more space efficient or make the clock longer. If you have anything, just let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, comment if you have anything to comment. As long as it's productive, I would greatly appreciate it. And be sure to subscribe. Thank you much. Later.